Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. I'm back. I'm going to be doing another review. Once again, this film is from Argentina, so Spanish language English subs. It's a comedy released in the year 2011, directed by Sebastian Borenstein, and this film is called Chinese Takeaway. And the story to Chinese Takeaway, it follows Roberto, played by Ricardo Darin, who is a very lonely hardware store worker. He also owns the store, and he's a very bitter old man. He doesn't like to communicate with other people. He just likes to keep to himself for reasons that are revealed later in the film. So he's working away, and in his spare time, he likes to collect stories from around the world in the newspaper of really unlucky incidences. So, and this really, it takes away his faith of life. Because of these really strange occurrences, and it's kind of proving what he believes. And what he believes is that life has no meaning. So he cuts these stories out of the paper and he pastes them in his scrapbook. So he continues doing this, and then he also loves aeroplanes. He's got a lot of model aeroplanes in his house, and he also likes to go to the airport to see the planes land and take off. But on this particular day at the start of the film, this is where his life is about to change. Out of a taxi, a Chinaman is thrown out. Now, this Chinaman is named Jun, and Jun knows absolutely no Spanish, and Roberto knows no Chinese. So the communication between the two is through gestures. So Roberto finally gets out of Jun through gestures that Jun is after his uncle. Now, he's from China. He's flown from China into Argentina to find his uncle somewhere in Buenos Aires, and he's got his address written down in his arm. So Roberto knows where this address is, so he takes him. And he goes to the shop, and they find out that the uncle had left 3 years earlier, and they don't know where he is. So Roberto, being the loner that he is, he doesn't want to keep on to Jun for too long. But it turns out that it's going to be a lot more complicated than he first thought, because no one seems to know where this guy's uncle is. And every time that Roberto tries to leave Jun behind, he feels really guilty, and he ends up taking him again. So they're going to try and find this guy's uncle, and in the meantime, it could change Roberto as a person and Jun as well. So from that point on, it's a movie about comedy. It's a movie about drama and life, and the life meaning, basically. So to prevent myself from giving away too much, that's all I'm going to give on the synopsis. So if you want to know more, please go out there and check this film out for yourself. Now, my thoughts on the movie. The biggest draw card to this film, number one, it's Argentinian, so obviously I'm going to love it. I'm proud of my Argentinian connections. But the biggest draw card of it was the fact that it said it was the Spanish version of Amelie. Now, I thought that was very misleading. Now, that is what brought me to the film, and I'm sure that's what's going to bring a lot of people to the movie. The fact that it says Spanish version of Amelie. Number one, it's not Spanish, it's Argentinian. And number two, it does make you feel very good, like Amelie did, but they're two completely different stories. This is more of a realistic life drama, whereas Amelie was a caricature. It was cartoon sort of. It was a cartoon world inside a real-time world. So although it was filmed as a real time, it was so exaggerated that it felt like you were watching another dimension. So that was more caricature. This is more life-based. So they're two very different films in the feeling to it. Yes, they do provoke the same sort of feeling, a strong sense of happiness, but the two films are very different. So I think that, once again, is misleading. So whoever was responsible for the marketing and the taglines, I think they are lying just a little bit. But having said that, both of the films, this and Amelie, are absolutely masterclass filmmaking. Now, what I loved about this movie so much is that it's truly beautiful. It's the type of film that you would watch after you've seen a really disturbing, cruel horror film. You're down in the dumps, you need some lightening up. This film and Amelie will bring you out of that dump. I mean, this is really important film work, in my opinion, because it makes you think about your own life. It's a movie that is comedy, but it's also very real. So the comedy is not exaggerated to the point where you call it a flat-out comedy. It hasn't got slapstick humor. It's all very, very subtle, and that's what keeps the realism going in it. And that's where a lot of other comedy films really fall down, in the fact that they try so hard to be funny that it's just not that funny, and it comes across as them being a try-hard. And because they're forcing it too much, they lose some of the realism that they're going for and the subtlety. But this movie never tends to steer off on that part. The director knows exactly what he wants, and he delivers it perfectly. Now, everything is subtle. The performances from the acting, Roberto, played by Ricardo Darin, fantastic actor, once again delivers a great performance. Very, very sympathetic character. Yes, he's a bitter old man, but when it's revealed what's happened in his life, you can kind of connect with him, because we all go through really bad things. And those bad things that we experience make us the people that we are. So while it's not condoning, being a bitter person, it's giving you a reason, and that reason is enough to sympathise with him. And you want to see Roberto's life get better. And then you've got the side story of Roberto's love life. Now, Murray, it's not a spoiler, but Murray is Mari. She is this woman who has been in love with Roberto, but Roberto has been hurt by events in his past that he keeps her at arm's length. So it's really a tragic sort of love story and what could have been. And you really want to see Roberto connect with Murray because you think it's Roberto's chance to be happy. But because he's scared, you don't really know what's going to happen. So that's why I feel that the movie is so much more than a comedy. It's a very life-based sort of drama, but at no stage does it get boring, and it doesn't get lost in the drama or the comedy. It blends it both perfectly well, and at no stage does it ever feel like you're getting sidetracked. It's got the overall feeling of meaning to life, but the little side stories that come through the film are not big enough to distract you. So that's why I felt that the director knows exactly what he's doing in this film, and that's why it comes across the way it does. Now, the chemistry between the two main characters, Jun and Roberto, they're both very likable, but both have been hurt, and I really found it funny. I thought it was a classic case of the odd couple, where Jun doesn't know Spanish, Roberto doesn't know English, and it's just really funny to see them try and communicate, because once again, it's very, very real. Now, when I was over in Argentina, I don't know very good Spanish, and some of my girlfriend's family didn't know English, so I had to do through hand gestures. And after seeing this film, it really reminded me, it took me back to that place, and it made me feel really good, because it was a really funny time to try and get your message across through hand gestures, and that's exactly what happens in here, and that's what makes it funny, and at the same time very realistic, because it does happen. So the chemistry between the two main characters, it was really, really good. You've got the bitter old man, and then you've got Jun, who is, once again, as I said, he's had hurtful things in his past, but he's more of a lively sort of character, and you really feel sorry for that poor Jun as well, because he's lost in the country and he has no way of communicating. So both of the characters were fantastically likable. I thought they were excellently drawn out and very, very rich in depth. So it is a movie that will make you think about your own life. It's a movie that reminded me of Signs by M. Night Shyamalan. Now, I'm not saying that it's a horror film, but I'm saying it's the same sort of movie that will make you feel, what is the meaning to life? Are there such things as coincidences? Does everything happen by chance? Or are things meant to be? And it makes you think that. Now, it's more subtle than Signs. This is not force-feeding anything. It's not splashing it on the screen in front of your eyes saying, this is what you must feel. This is what the film's about. The director, once again, the subtleties. He takes a step back and he says to the audience, okay, I'm going to treat you with respect. I'm going to treat you as though you're intelligent, and you're going to make your own mind up as to what the film's about and what life is about. So it's never preaching anything in the film. And once again, that shows great respect to the audience, and that's why I feel the film works so well. The cinematography, absolutely outstanding. There were elements when the Roberto was reading his stories in the newspaper. That is when it goes to a different dimension. So it kind of felt like Amelie when Roberto is reading the stories, and it kind of goes off and it's playing out those stories. But it's not real life, if you know what I mean. So that little caricature moments I thought blended in very well, but once again didn't take the distraction from what the film was all about. And I felt that the film delivers the message absolutely powerfully. Fantastically done. I thought, it is a very, very beautiful, very touching, and is also quite funny. So all in all, I feel that this film is right up there with Secret in Their Eyes as the best Argentinian film made at the moment. So I thought this is an absolute masterpiece. I'm giving it 5 out of 5, one of the most important films that I have seen in a long time, something that cheered me up greatly, and I feel that if you've just seen a really nasty horror film and you need a little bit of cheering up, this movie is essential viewing. So I'll be watching this many, many times. Absolutely fantastic. 5 out of 5. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.